Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be making, earlier today we made the spicy tomato juice, which was just, I had about 10 or 12 pounds of fresh tomatoes from my sister's backyard, which we put through the Breville juicer, and we juiced this tomato juice, no heat or anything added to it. I wanted the natural enzymes coming from that fresh picked tomato. So that tomato was juiced without heat, just juiced with 2 Scotch bonnet peppers. So it's a spicy tomato juice, and a little bit of sea salt was added to it, Himalayan sea salt. Now that tomato that we did juice, instead of throwing it out, I'm going to be making ketchup with this tomato that we already juiced. So I have this boiling on the stove on low for about 45 minutes, and then I went to the backyard and I harvested from my backyard. I have fresh basil and fresh rosemary, and I'm using 2 whole onions in this tomato ketchup. So the onions are roughly chopped, because all this is going to be cooked and then put in the blender. All this is going to be pureed out. So you don't have to chop them too fine. They'll cook out, and what doesn't cook out will actually be blended out. I'm putting in fresh rosemary from the garden, 3 sprigs, good helping of red rosemary. I'm just using my kitchen shear to chunk them as I put them in. As I told you, all this is going to be put in a blender and blended. This is the fresh basil. Smells wonderful, and the basil is going in. Okay, give that a nice stir. Our homemade ketchup, all natural from backyard finds. My son eats ketchup as if it's some kind of nourishment, so I'm going to really give him real ketchup with nourishment. Ketchup is sweet, so we're going to be adding 2 cups of granulated sugar. Okay, 2 cups of sugar. All right. Two cups of sugar. We're going to put in our powdered seasoning. I'm going in nice sprinkle of adobo. I usually put cayenne pepper, but at this point, because we already have the Scotch bonnet peppers all pureed up with the tomatoes, we will not add any Scotch bonnet pepper. I'm adding a little sprinkle of paprika. So this is basically, we're seasoning up the ketchup. I have kosher salt, just a sprinkle of kosher salt, probably 1.5 pinch kosher salt. And then we're gonna basically just give this a good stir, and it's on low. If you notice, it's not bubbling or anything. I have it on low. I'm gonna turn it back up to about a medium. And I'm gonna allow this to cook for another half an hour or so in medium, until the basil and rosemary and onions break down and become one with the tomato sauce. The sugar is all dissolved in, and so please do not do a full cover on this. Give it like a little air to breathe, because what will happen, it will slowly just boil over and you'll have such a big mess to clean. I don't think you want that. It wouldn't be worth it. You'd be so mad at yourself to do that. So when I come back, this should be cooked down, cool, and about to go into the blender to be blended. We'll be back. Hi, welcome back. So our tomato ketchup, I went ahead and I have it sitting after it was cooked. I had it sitting overnight, so it fully cools, and then it was it was buzzed through the blender, puree, so it's in a puree consistency. Then I put it back on the stove and just reheat the ketchup. So this is the consistency of it right now. I did just make a little cornstarch slurry and add to it to thicken it, just to ketchup consistency, true ketchup consistency. So this is what it looks like. Smells wonderful with the basil and smells wonderful with the basil and the smells wonderful with the basil and the rosemary. I'm telling you, we should have smell it too, because that's the only way you can really get that fragrance coming off of this ketchup right now. I added just some adobo. I didn't put any salt. I added some adobo just for a little bit more flavor, because remember it has all this onion and stuff in it, fresh basil, fresh herbs. So this is basically it. I have it simmering on low for like the last 15 minutes after I put the cornstarch slurry in it. And the cornstarch slurry is just a little bit, a tablespoon of cornstarch with about a quarter cup of water, and you mix that into a slurry. You pour it in to thicken it. So this is the consistency right now, but remember, we're going to have this cooling, and once it cools, it's going to thicken up some more. So you don't want it thicker than this. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, cool it down, and then I'm going to bottle and store in the refrigerator. And this is going to be my son's ketchup, because he's a ketchup head. He eats ketchup on everything. So this, I know what's in it. I know it's loaded with good nutrients and minerals. I made it myself, not the overly sugared down ketchup with no tomato in it. All right, so please try my recipe. Thank you for watching.